Come back. We're going to talk to a parent coach of a Lego robotics team. You're listening to ICC Parent Talk with Vidya on Radio Zindagi 1550 AM. Our number here is 770-1550.
हेलो, हाँ माँ, कैसी हो? पापा ठीक हैं?
मैं ठीक हूँ बेटा, जस्ट मिसिंग तुम सबको। हर साल दिवाली की सफाई करते तुम्हारी चीजों को देख के बहुत याद आती है। चलो छोड़ो ये सब बातें। Where are you taking everyone for दिवाली?
निशा को तो बस शॉपिंग करनी है और आपको तो पता है ना कि बच्चों के लिए we need to celebrate all the festivals so that they learn about our culture. अच्छा चलो माँ, I'll talk later. निशा, we have to make this Diwali special. Kids need to learn about the festivals of light.
I have already bought tickets for the best Diwali event in the Bay Area. Our entire group is going with family.
कहाँ? With kids? Again another dinner or someone's house?
Nahi, we are going to ICC, India Community Center. It will have karaoke, dinner, Bollywood performances and DJ. और बच्चों के लिए special entertainment. October 16 starts at 6 p.m.
क्या बात है निशा? इसी बात पे I'll double your shopping budget.
Welcome back to ICC Parent Talk. Today's topic was brain games, and we talked about a number of enrichment activities that kids can do and parents can help them with. We touched on Odyssey of the Mind, Science Bowl, Science Olympiad, Math Olympiad, and we spoke to a couple of really amazing kids who are completely into making sure that curiosity is alive and enjoying themselves in the process. Now we're going to talk to Arun Kumar, who is a parent coach for the Lego robotics team. They've called themselves the East Bay Lego Force. His rookie team made it to the regionals last year. That's fantastic. Welcome, Arun.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Tell me honestly, Arun, was the motivation to become a coach the chance to play with Legos that you never did as a kid?
Quite likely, if you look at it from that fashion. But the main motivation was to spend some quality time with my son, aligning myself with his interest, and try to have fun in the process.
So when did you start the process?
So we started this team last year during the summer time frame. And
I see.
This was a completely new team, so nobody had any prior experience with the first Lego League. People were interested in Lego. They didn't know what they were getting into. And we actually pulled people from different schools and different living communities. So it was not a team which was from a particular school or from a particular location.
I see. So you can have teams that are pretty diverse in terms of where they're coming from.
That is what we did last year, but there are learnings from that because the amount of time and commitment that the kids need to put in, the scheduling overheads, it's probably better to minimize that as much as possible. But we didn't know that when we started the team last year. So we had a very bunch of enthusiastic kids, enthusiastic parents, some of them who knew what they were getting into, some of them didn't. And then the whole process, once it began, we really figured out what it was.
Is it the same team this year as well?
So we have had a few additions and subtractions. In fact, last year we had a boy who used to come from San Ramon every week to Fremont to work with the team. So that was a huge time commitment on their side. So some people have moved on to be part of their schools and their specific geographies. We have added a couple new people this time.
Probably local, more local.
More local, more close by, so that we can just get over to each other's houses. And
now, is there just one coach for the team, or are all the parents involved?
So we try to do some division of responsibilities. Some of the parents are involved in some of the programming related stuff. Some parents are more in the research project. So yes, parents are involved to an extent.
Okay. So how do you coordinate all these different pieces? Is it everybody's given a task? And I'm thinking about this, and I remember having a conversation with you before the show, and what it got to me was, okay, this parent was involved in researching this project, and that parent was putting together something. And so what do the kids do?
So the main activity is done by the kids.
Which is what?
The programming the robot, building the actual robot model to do the challenges, and actually doing the legwork around research. The parents actually provide guidance, and as Nikhil was saying before this, there is a lot of discovering and learning which is involved. So the parents are there to guide the kids along the way. Now, of course, there are certain areas where parents may require a little more involvement, because maybe the particular set of kids who are part of the team don't have that kind of experience. So let's say in a particular programming technique.
Why don't you give us a real life example of your experience last year? Right.
So we had this challenge about making the robot walk on a black line, okay, using a light sensor. And it's a difficult concept. It sounds simple when we think about it, but actually when you need to put that into practice, it's actually a difficult thing to achieve. Very difficult to achieve with a single sensor, slightly easier to achieve with two sensors. And we tried to help the kids get the logic behind it, try to program. Ultimately, we gave up the idea of using the light sensors, and we did some brute force in terms of angles and distances. This year, we are trying to make sure that kids really work on programming it as per whatever coaching we have given them.
And is it a temptation to put your fingers into the process as a parent?
Quite a bit. In fact, one of the roles I play, trying to play, is to make sure that the parental involvement is kept to a minimum, and most of the learning is done by the kids themselves.
But this is a competition. So when you go to a competition, I'm sure it must be enormously tempting for you to present the best project possible and not necessarily the most child involved parent project possible. So did you feel that when you went into the competition, you had been perhaps a little more careful about not interfering with the kids' learning process, and some of the projects were really extremely professionally done, and it felt that there was outside help? Is there any way for them to control it? How do the judges decide?
That is the good thing about FLL.
Can you tell us the full form of FLL?
So FLL stands for First Lego League.
Okay.
It's formed between a joint venture between FIRST, which is for improvement of research and science and technology. So it's essentially a thing which was started in 1989 by Dean Kamen, and they have tied up with Lego. They want the kids to actually take the initiative, learn. So it's not about just winning a competition. And what they do is really make the atmosphere such that if you have actually had outside help, it becomes pretty clear.
I see.
So they quiz the kids in a room. They have their specific about the research project, about the program. Parents are not allowed to actually be there when the actual testing happens. So if they have had outside help, I think the judges find that out. And the idea here is for the kids to learn and show that responsibility. And that's really what needs to come out. The whole idea is there are certain core values which they want the kids to display, including things like gracious professionalism, having fun while learning, working together as a team, taking the help of parents as mentors, not actually as people who are doing the stuff. And I think in the project and in the challenge, it all comes out.
It all does come out. So what do you think your child got out of it, out of the experience, and was he eager to repeat it?
So he was eager to repeat because of the I think he gets a chance to be with friends, like-minded friends, spend some time learning and also having fun. Different kids approach it differently. There are some kids who are very competitive and who want to sort of be the first and get the best out of it. There are some kids who are there because they get to learn new stuff and work with a different set of people, different set of other kids. And the whole process itself is a learning experience, resolving conflicts between each other as a kid, working together as a team with people who have different styles. So all these are actually things which...
There's a lot of interpersonal team dynamic.
Right. Even like figuring out who needs to do what, scheduling stuff. These are things which the kids start taking ownership over a period of time. And that is really what comes out or needs to come out as part of this.
And what about you? What was the process like for you coaching this team last year?
Alternatingly fun and a lot of time involvement. So it's not something which needs to be or can be done in a simple manner. It takes up a lot of time. So
now, if I'm not mistaken, Odyssey of the Mind, there's like an upper limit on how much you can spend to do any particular project. What is the kind of financial commitment that this involves?
So the commitment here is mainly you have to use the Lego elements or the Lego pieces.
Okay.
You have to have the robot, and then there are restrictions in terms of the number of sensors and the number of motors that you can use. Other than that, there are really no other restrictions, so to speak.
So what is the typical financial commitment for this program? Because
go ahead.
Sorry.
So if you're talking about a team of 6 or 7, So there are different, you can have a maximum of 10 people in a team.
I see.
This is for 9 to 14 years old. There are other programs at the higher levels, like the first program and so on. If you have a team of 6 to 7 people, if you're buying a fresh kit, a new robot, and then doing the registration and so on and so forth, you're looking at a commitment of around $150 to $200 per family.
And I do remember you talking about the time commitment. So what is the time commitment for the parents in this?
And the kids.
And the kids.
I think you should look at anywhere between 4 to 5 hours a week.
I see.
To begin with, if the team is very rookie, and then the time commitment will fluctuate over a period of weeks depending on when the deadline is, when the tournament is, etc. But it's safe to say between 4 to 5 hours a week is a good.
Is it too late to start a team now? What's the typical timeline that we're talking about?
So typically the challenge gets revealed. So they have a big reveal of the challenge. It's usually around Labor Day.
So everybody in that age group competes for the same project.
Mm-hmm.
I see. So it's a single project. It's not a choice.
Yes. And you get to know about the details around Labor Day.
Labor Day. Okay.
And so usually, Google plays a big role. They, some of the people here in the Bay Area, the announcement is done at the Google campus and so on. And then the kids get around 2.5 months. So the whole of September, whole of October, a little bit of November. And that's when the first qualifier tournaments are. And then people who make it to the next level, the teams which make it to the next level, they typically have their next level tournament either in December or in January. So we're talking about 2 to 2.5 months for the process, right from when the challenge is revealed to when the initial competition takes place.
And there is a fair amount of flexibility once you have a team of how you manage your time within that time frame. And
That's true.
You just have to register. So Arun, I'm going to make the same request of you. If you can just provide us the links that parents can go to, we'll try a little paragraph about your program. We can put it up on the indiacc.org/parent talk website.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, we come to the end of this show. Thank you so much to all our guests who were here and shared their experience and knowledge with us. And I think we've only scratched the surface of enrichment opportunities available to kids. I'm sure some of you will tell me that I've missed out on some, and do get in touch at radio@indiacc.org to let us know what else we need to talk about. One thing I would absolutely say is that when you're planning an enrichment activity for your child, I think it would be best to have the child do the leading for you and sort of direct you to what they're interested in. It shouldn't feel like this is another burden that's being put on them along with the homework from school. And if you're a parent wondering how on earth you're going to make time in your busy life for your children's extracurriculars and whether they're doing enough, too much, too little, keep in mind that no previous generation has obsessed as much over parenting as we do. And tune into next week's episode on the stress of parenting in these modern times. That's all from us today at ICC Parent Talk. See you next week, same time, same place, Radio Zindagi, 1550 AM, Saturdays, 11 to noon. This is your host Vidya saying bye-bye and see you next week.
हेलो, हाँ माँ, कैसी हो? पापा ठीक हैं?
मैं ठीक हूँ बेटा, जस्ट मिसिंग तुम सबको। हर साल दिवाली की सफाई करते तुम्हारी चीजों को देख के बहुत याद आती है। चलो छोड़ो ये सब बातें। Where are you taking everyone for दिवाली?
निशा को तो बस शॉपिंग करनी है, और आपको तो पता है ना कि बच्चों के लिए we need to celebrate all the festivals so that they learn about our culture. अच्छा चलो माँ, I'll talk later. निशा, we have to make this Diwali special. Kids need to learn about the festivals of light.
I have already bought tickets for the best Diwali event in the Bay Area. Our entire group is going with family.
कहाँ? With kids? Again another dinner or someone's house?
Nahi, we are going to ICC, India Community Center. It will have karaoke, dinner, Bollywood performances and DJ. और बच्चों के लिए special entertainment. October 16 starts at 6 p.m.
क्या बात है निशा, इसी बात पे I'll double your